And we're live. Hey guys, welcome back to Whiskey Charlie, the War Game Chat, our monthly show on YouTube. I'm your host, Mo from Mo's Game Table, and joining me are my two awesome co-hosts, everybody's favorite Gimp with the Limp, the Gimpy Gamer, Nate Rogers. How's it going, Nate?
Another glorious day in the core, man.
And the Wargaming Wizard from Oz, the notorious Wargaming Wizard from Oz, Kev Sharp from the Big Board. How's it going, Kev?
Somewhat less fantastic than Nate, but nevertheless fantastic.
Not a glorious day, huh?
It's not a glorious day, and there's no core. No.
Well, we are catching up because last month we didn't have a show, as you guys know, because we just had jacked up schedules. Things were going on. Kev had to go do some anniversary thing, and then I had stuff going, and Nate had stuff going, and Nate had stuff going tonight too. That's why we started at 7:30, but a little bit later start tonight. But we're back in it, and we're going to have two shows this month. This is the first one. We'll have one at the very end of the month, the Halloween show, like we normally do. So we will have some fun, I think, tonight, as we always do, and we'll catch up, like I said, in two shows this month. And I'm still waiting to hear this, but there is strong indications that there may be some breaking news sometime during this episode. So stay tuned for that.
Rumor has it, film at 11.
Yes, film at 11. So what have you been up to, Nate? What have you been playing?
Well, playing is hit or miss. Remember, I'm still catching up from the wife being down, because the reason I was slowed down was she had that reconstructive surgery on her knee, and she is just now up and moving around again. She's up to 20% of a bend.
Oh, wow. Did you say your wife went down? Is that what you said?
Not that way, not the good way.
I was just asking.
No, she was now reconstructed. What was done with her knee? She didn't get a knee replacement.
No, the dog had hit it, right, and he dislocated it, and he pushed that cap all the way to the side.
Oh, it was the patella. Okay.
Yeah. So when they first checked it out, they expected her to heal up within a couple of weeks, normal dislocation, and it wasn't. She couldn't put any weight on it. So they end up scoping it, do the whole thing, and they're like, yeah, we're going to have to go in there and reinforce everything, because part of the bone structure, hers just didn't fit quite right, and the ligaments never snugged back up. Mm-hmm. So they had to go in there. They used donor ligaments. I think they said pig. I was chuckling at her. I'm like, you got a pig knee. But they had to do the whole nine, putting the screws in, doing the orthoscopic crap, and she's still in a brace now. For weeks, she couldn't even bend it. She could put pressure on it, but she couldn't bend it. So that's why I was, busy and occupied. Couldn't do the show because I was having to take as much off of her plate as I could. But now, she's moving around good. She can finally drive again. Seats all the way back. Yeah. So she can actually get in the car. We're hoping by like Thanksgiving she'll finally be out of the brace and actually, moving around again.
So when she was in the brace, it was the one that just kept her leg straight, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what
she's still in that now.
Yeah, that's what happened with my wife. She literally broke her patella. It didn't separate. It just cracked straight down the middle. And I have to set this up a little bit because it's actually, now looking back in hindsight, it's something to chuckle about. It wasn't that night, but we were going to Vegas in the morning, and she decides, I'm going to do a deep clean because my mom's coming over and she's going to babysit the dogs. Okay, let's do a deep clean at like 9-10 o'clock at night when we're leaving at 6 a.m.
Yeah, I know that wifey desire.
So she goes into the closet, the linen closet, and I don't know why, but somehow I guess she didn't have any other place to put it. She put baking sheets in there. So she had a baking pan. She put a baking pan in there. A bunch of other stuff she pulled out, and on hardwood floor, she steps over something, steps on the baking pan, foot goes straight out. She drops
probably some residual
on
grease on that thing,
and just no. It was just that it was the pan that was on the hardwood floor, and it slicked. It wasn't even used. The pan, it just slid across the floor with her foot on it, and she went knee first down into the ground, broke the patella. She was just, all I heard was a loud thud, and I was like, you okay? Didn't hear anything. And I was like, oh, she's hurt. I come around the corner. I'm like, you okay? She's just sitting there, and she's like, not even making a sound. And I said, here, let me get you on a bed, up on the bed, in the spare bedroom's right there. And she's like, no. I was like, okay. And a few minutes later, I'm like, I'm going to need to take you to the hospital. No, we're going to Vegas. And then I'm like, no, we're going to the hospital right now. Took her to the hospital, did the x-ray, broke knee. So he's like, I'm going to put you in a brace. And she's like, but we're going to Vegas in the morning. I says, no, we're not.
Yeah. Vegas is over.
Point. I'm like, we're not going to Vegas.
There'll be no dancing. There'll be no pole dancing.
Exactly. So, because she's like, well, I still want to go. I'm like, yeah. What is the one thing you do in Vegas aside from gamble?
You walk all up and down the Broadway.
Yes. I said, you're never going to be able to do it. So, no. So that was the story on that.
Wheelchair, right? You're not going to push her in a wheelchair.
And I'm not pushing you in a wheelchair for whatever, 5 days.
Park her at a penny slot and leave her there. Go have your own fun for a little while. Just come back, push her to the bathroom every few minutes. You'll be fine.
Just attach a bag. She'll be good.
I was stationed 29 Palms, and I went to Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you, having a company-sized unit of Marines descending on Vegas can result into one hell of an evening.
Oh, yeah.
We all had a good time, but don't remember quite all of it.
Not supposed to.
Yeah, a lot of alcohol.
Yeah.
As far as games,
brain cells.
As far as games, though, I finally covered that crossing the line, Aiken, 1944.
Aiken, like your wife's knee, or Aachen?
Yeah.
See, how do you pronounce it? I wasn't going to go with it.
Is it Aiken or is it
Aachen?
Aachen?
Unless someone else, if someone needs to correct me on that, please do. But from best of my knowledge, it's Aachen. But I couldn't resist the Aiken thing. I had to say, oh, like your wife's knee, you know.
No, I felt bad because Volca had evidently sent this to me a while ago.
Yeah.
And I covered one of their other games, and I set it on my shelf, the Aachen. Sorry if you hear the kids in the background. They're being put to bed as we speak.
Yeah, they sound like it.
No, I don't want to go. Crossing our fingers. But I found it, and I'm like, oh, crap, they sent me this, and I didn't do the review on it. So I pulled it out real quick, learned the game. It's actually a good game. I like the formation system for it. Combat system is nice and deep, something different. So it's definitely worth checking out. If you haven't, make sure you go check the review on it. Real good game.
I'm curious to see your review on it, because the funny thing is it's the formation system. It's the same system that Kevin and I played with across the Boog River. So it'll be interesting to see your thoughts on it now that you've played it.
I'm sorry, repeat that. You were talking about the Rural River?
He couldn't
the Boog River. The Boog across the Boog River, that is the formation system. That's the same system from Vukos. That was, I think, the first game in that, or first or second game in that system that they came out. I think it was the second game.
Second, yeah. Aachen was first.
Yeah, and then we played Aiken. No, we played that, and then now I'll be interested to see what your thoughts are on it. Now that because we played it, we shared our thoughts on it, and it'll be fun to hear what you think. What you think about it, because I think there was it's a good game. I love the combat system, I really do. But there was the whole finding out what unit goes and how many points you get and all stuff. That felt like it was too slow. I wish it was faster.
That was my one ding against it. The system, I like the system in a way. Reminds me of World of War 85 because of the exhaustion that the formations kind of build up.
And that too, the chain retreats. Yeah.
But I could see it becoming cumbersome because you're not just worried about the activation. Now you're worried about the reactions as well.
Yeah.
If you move next to the enemy, and you can get bogged down really quick in a lot of different things going on. I think they've got something interesting going on with it, but it's not beer and pretzels by any means. You got to really be paying attention to.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of die rolling. It just kind of got tedious after a while from that perspective. I love the combat, like you guys said.
Yeah.
So you would like
it awesome.
You would like it more if there was just set numbers of activations versus having to roll off.
Some other way of working out.
Faster way of coming up with
get
that.
Rid of the whole Euro cube board bullshit and just give me either a deck of cards or a bucket of chits or something, and then let me work it out from there. But I get what they're trying to do. It's all good.
Or even like a 2-die roll of some sort. A 1 is this unit, a 2 is that unit, or whatever, and then whatever you're on the other die, whatever the roll is, that's how many activations you get. Maybe
look it up on
2d10
a
or
table,
something like that.
right? Look it up on one table instead of having this
Yeah, it'd be a lot quicker.
Think about it this way: the way the formation system is set up now, yes, it is cumbersome. It can get fiddly, but it does a good job of showing the exhaustion that the formations are going to have if they keep getting activated time and time and time and time again. And you might have one turn where you slam it and do a lot with them, but then that next turn you're not going to be able to form near as much as you did previously.
Sure.
And if your opponent pays attention, they can hold back on a turn and catch you with your pants down when you can't react, because you get less action points when you're reacting versus when you're activating the formation. So if you have less of an ability to react, and then your opponent has more points available to them, they can push back whatever advance that you just made. I think it does a good job of simulating the fact that you've got to make right choices when it comes to it. But yes, it can get cumbersome and fiddly.
Yeah, and it's a reboot of the original Crossing the Rhine, and similar system. And I think they just enhanced it, made it prettier, put some colors on it, some bits and pieces, and maybe tweaked the formation stuff. But it is a reboot of an older system that they've reskinned, and then they did Book River and whatever. So it's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'm definitely gonna have to check out Book
What else,
River.
man? What else were you playing?
I did have one that's getting ready to hit the table. I covered Stuka Ace from Lock and Load Publishing. That one, is it shipping now? I can't remember if it's shipping now.
We'll find out.
I don't know.
Well, I thought Stuka had already had arrived. I might be mistaken, but yeah.
No, you're thinking of Stuka Joe, who said the Boo game had bugs. I see what you did there.
But yeah, I covered Stuka Ace. That one's it's a chart heavy solo game. It's the Hunters. It's Silent Victory. It's a game of that ilk. If you like those games, you're gonna like Stuka Ace, right? And a friend of mine named Kevin actually sent me the other one, Compass's version. What's it called? Storm of Steel. The other JU-87 Stuka Ace. I haven't played it yet, but I've got it on the table. I'm going to cover that one next.
That'd be cool to compare the two.
What's the JU-87? What is that? What kind of plane is that?
Oh, we lost him.
Nate, what kind of plane is that?
A Stuka?
No.
What? How am I missing? JU-87 Stuka.
Stuka, yeah, no. I was thinking about another plane. I wanted to see how he said. You know what I'm talking about, Kev? The plane I'm talking about with the JU. Which one is the?
Is Kevin frozen?
I'm gonna have to give it away. I'm gonna have to give it away for him. I want to see if he was going to say it's like there's Junkers planes in what do you call it?
Oh, a Junkers.
Aiken. The Junkers.
Yeah, it's called a Junkers. I know what it's called. Is that the same number for a JU-87 Junkers?
Yes.
Oh, I did not realize.
I'm pretty sure. Actually, let Stuka Joe tell us. I would hope he would know best. So, anything else on the game front aside from those games?
I'm trying to remember. Most of it is stuff that I already talked about previously. I did some digital stuff that I haven't talked as much about, but bye, Mo. Did we lose Mo? Kev?
Well, that would be a problem.
All right. Well, to talk about digital stuff, Scramble for Battle for Britain. That is getting ready to come out. There's a demo for it now on Steam if you haven't tried it. Real cool tactical game, dogfighting. It's got British aircraft versus German aircraft. It's by Slithering Games. I've had a blast with that game. You control your plane in like 10-second increments. So you'll choose a maneuver, bank, dive, turn, whatever, and you're trying to get your targeting reticle on the opponent so you can choose to fire. But you control it in those little small spurts. So it's tactical rather than like an arcade game. Demo available. Go check it out. A lot of fun. And the full release is at the end of this month. Oh, and Headquarters, World War II. If you guys haven't tried that one, I think there's a demo available for that as well. Real cool tactical game. I mean, hex encounter, it's squares, but hex encounter game. Destructible terrain, all the units, tanks, infantry, the whole 9 fun missions. They just released the Market Garden DLC for that one as well.
Nice.
Cool.
So that's
Cool.
my DLC fun, or my digital fun rather.
Nice. Kev?
So how far are we going back? Like August? Are we talking about August or just
Yeah, I think we
September?
have to catch back up over a month. Yeah.
Okay,
So we'll be here a while. I'm just going to go on mute.
Yeah. Well, let's see. So I did play one short scenario of The Last Gamble, the new, used to be called Herr Hitler's Last Gamble. I'm playing, so that was interesting, and I'm actually setting up another scenario for that. Or at least thinking about playing another scenario for that. The December 22 scenario, kind of the high tide scenario. I'm playing on Vassal Ardennes 44. I think we're on the December 18th or 19th for that. I'm actually doing okay as the Germans there, but it's all about to come a crashing halt when the 82nd and 101st arrive. I got one quick play of Assault on Gallipoli in the new game from who I think Hexasim published it, and it's a second edition. They did a private publishing company called Gecko Games. An Australian chap made the game. It's basically the Stormover series with a few shiny bits, big board, nice pieces, nice counters and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember seeing that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's fine. I mean, I'm not a huge Stormover fan, but it's interesting. Played Battles for Battles of Napoleon Volume 1 ILAO. Played the full campaign scenario for that. I got halfway through and I stopped because the rules still need work, which is a bit of a disappointment, but there's a 1.5 coming. And I think there's just lots of clarifications and missed opportunities for better rules. Gorgeous game, interesting mechanics. I would put it all the way down on the, let's see, I guess on the left-hand side of complexity. Pretty straightforward, but just not well presented in the rules. It's less complicated than the Rising Eagles system, but it's still very thematic, and of course it's a stunning looking game. So there's that. I'll try and be quick here. Played Next War Iran, that arrived. I played the campaign of that. That's the second time I've played. Played a playtest version. I actually got my name in the box with the GMT dudes. And they sent me a free copy.
Mr. Fancy Pants.
Yeah, I know. Look at me. I'm all legit now. I'm a GMT homeboy. I gave that copy away. That has been received in Florida. Hopefully, it won't be floating down the river to the beach after this horrible hurricane that's coming.
Yeah.
Played Raiders of the Drop Zone. Did a quick. I didn't get as excited about it as I wanted to, but I didn't invest it very much time. It was more of a, let me have a quick look at it and see if I want to get more involved. I played 3 or 4 turns. I think it's interesting. I'm not sure that there's a lot of stuff in the box of all these different unit types, and they don't mean anything. It's all just whatever your combat factor is, that's what you got. So you got these mechs and tanks and flamethrowers and this, that, and the other, and special recon sniper guys and all this crazy, bugs, zillions of them type of thing. But none of the weapons give a shit. That doesn't matter. So,
Mr. Rico.
Zillions of them. Played a bunch of Rogue SAS. Nate, thank you, man. I was very suspicious about that game, but curious. And
Suspicious about what? It's awesome.
I know. It just looked really goofy and cartoony, and it's actually a lot of fun. And it's actually got some cool tactical shit going on with it. I think it's a cute game. I really like it. Played 3 scenarios now, and
it catches you, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's really cool. You get those little guys running around trying to sneak through. It's not all about shooting and stuff. You got to be sneaky, and bad stuff happens all the time to you. It's awesome. So that, and then a couple
Hold
more.
on, let me interject real quick.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Just a FYI, they are doing another Kickstarter. They're going to be doing an expansion pack for SAS Rogue Regiment.
Nice.
Cool. I'll probably get them. Yeah, I'll probably get them because that was fun.
Yeah, they just announced that a few days ago.
I got two more left. World War 85, got the final production copy of that. Played that. Played 2 scenarios or 3, I forget. I think maybe 2. Just the standard, fantastic World War 85 production quality, great counters, new counter types. So I've got some new circular counters for information counters, which I actually really like because you can still see the units when you put these little disruptor markers on top. That's pretty nifty. Fantastic latex maps came in the mail as well for I think they're $20 on the Kickstarter or something like that.
Wait,
if you want to grab
latex maps.
The canvas,
canvas, latex,
you mean
whatever.
canvas.
They're plastic. They're plastic.
You got Nate's attention. Latex.
Isn't it some sort of? Isn't it latex coated or something like that?
Yeah, I think it's like got a backing of latex or something. Yeah.
It's not a rubber suit, dickhead. Okay, so
Got him all excited for nothing.
Yeah, he's like.
Speaking of devil, and here
a bunch of that. Yeah, there it is. Hey, Dave, how you doing? So that, and then the last one. Oh, I'm playing a Raging Storm, and I've been playing like a complete just idiot with that. I've had to restart it 1.5 times. So I just have not been very focused with that particular title. I was having a few issues, but that's a TCS title from Multi-Man Publishing, and I think that's pretty much everything. That's what I've been doing for the last 2 months.
Really, that's it, slacker.
I think that's it. Yeah.
Way better than me. It's been pretty simple for me. I've gotten several games in, just have had zero time to do it because, as you guys know, since mid-May, it's been head down literally on just 2 video projects. First one was Last Gamble, and then second one was Aaron Armor. And we're now in the final edit portion of Aaron Armor, and to get 60 videos done. And it's like 11 hours of video. So it's tough, but Nate'll like this. This came in.
Purple Haze.
Yep. Need to get the expansions on that too to see how those go. But I had previewed that a few years ago, and they sent me a copy, so I could see the final production. See how it comes out in final production copy. Because when I played the preview copy, I was curious about how I really liked what they were doing. The whole idea. It's not. I don't want to say it's a war game per se. It is definitely a hybrid board game type of thing. Right. But the war game aspects are fairly light, but there are decisions there, and it's an experience more than anything else. I think that's what really is interesting about it, is it draws you in and you're part of a story. And I like that aspect of it. I thought it was pretty cool. So I did play, there we go. And lock and load. Dave says he purchased Purple Haze because of me. Well, they have, I think, 4 expansions. So I'm going to have to, like I said, get those. Corvette Commander, that one, or Corvette Command, I should say, from War Diary. Got that one. And I finally said the other night, I says, I'm taking that night off. I'm not doing anything. I'm going to play a game for a change. So I actually sat down and played that. And that's a neat little narrative type of game. It gives you a story as you go along. You move from sector to sector, and then you're determined, you flip over the counters and you see, is there any contact or is there no contact? And if there's contact, then you have to draw, you draw a card to see what type of submarine it is, a type 7 or a type 9, and then the distance it's at, whether it's long, medium, or close. And that also is dictated by weather, because you'll have some, if the weather's good, the sub commander, if he's long, he's going to try to engage from a long distance, which is harder for you to spot if he's on the surface. So it makes it more difficult for you to pick up, and the better chance for them to shoot and attack. Well, if the weather changes, if it's, poor or foggy snow, especially foggy snow, I believe, you're going to immediately they're just going to come right into close range, because you're not going to be able to see them. They're just going to come right in. They're going to be able to take shots at convoy, and you're going to have to get into a knife fight, with them pretty quick, which I actually like better, because you get an additional +1 benefit when they're in close range like that with your ASDIC to be able to try to pick them up. And then you start off in 41, and then as you go along, month after month, as you go along into 42, 43, then you get the Huff Duff and things like that, which will increase your capabilities to be able to pick up submarines. And as your sub gains XP, gains experience, then you can, kind of buff your guys and improve their capabilities. So that way your deck guns can hit them easier. You have a better chance with depth charges, things like that. And the thing I thought with depth charges was pretty cool is you basically fire a 4 dice spread, and you have to roll a D10, and then you have to match the dice to see if you hit with the D10, which I think is kind of interesting. So it was a fun game. I really enjoyed it. And you have your little log. You can keep track of what's going on, which is another part that is fun for that type of game, because it's so smooth when you're playing it that you'll sit down and you'll start creating a story. You're not just going, okay, one sub, they attacked me. They took out 1,000 tons or 4,000 tons or whatever. They hit one of the things. You start adding in, oh, they took out an oil tanker. I lost 2,000 ton oil tanker. And, here's a 3,000 ton freighter or whatever. You can even add in names if you want. And you put in your own time. They do tell you that time is 24 hours or a day and a half or 2 days, but you're putting in your own time. It's like, oh, it's 21:33, and here's what's going on. It's foggy and snow, stuff like that. So you can kind of create your own story as you go along if you want to. Those types of games, because they're so kind of chill and relaxing, I'll sit down and I'll write out a little, thing of what I'm doing. I think that's what it does generate for a lot of people. It makes them feel like, you're telling a story.
But they got to flow easy. You can't get bogged down in rules.
No,
it'll take you out of it.
Yeah, it flows real easy, because basically they come in, they attack, and then you try to detect them, and then you're basically you're chasing them. If you detect them and they're at close range, you immediately drop depth charges. They will try to evade. If they evade and you detect them at, say, medium or long range, well, now you bring them into medium range if they're at long range. And then you try to detect them again, and you get another buff. You get another +3 for your search. So your search capability increases because you already detected them once. Now you're tracking them. And at medium range, you bring them in the close, then you can drop depth charges on them again, which is pretty cool, because you're actually, there's a little cat and mouse there. It's very simple. It's very easy to understand, but it does give you that, oh man, that son of a bitch slipped away, but it'll come back up to 3 times. A type 9 will attack 4. And so 3 times he'll come back and try to attack from long range. So you got to repeat the process 3 times. And it moves so quick that you can go through an engagement pretty fast, but it depends. It takes about 10 days, 2 weeks to get the convoy across, depending if you're slow or fast or whatever. A week to 2 weeks, and you get across. You get over to whichever side you go, because in the beginning you can start either in Liverpool or in Canada, and then after that you start from Liverpool to Canada, and I believe, or the other way around. I forget off the top of my head, but then you will always go the one way, and you have to follow a path because it tells you which path to follow. And then you have to enter a certain way or exit a certain way, which is pretty neat. And it changes the variability of it up. And then of course it's all counters that you're going to kind of shake up and then put them down. So you're never going to have the same exact experience twice.
Yeah. You're going to need that replayability for a game like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, that reminds me of one I forgot to mention from Compass Games, the Golden Age of Piracy. They just finished that Kickstarter out. But I covered that. I also did a preview on that one, which, I gotta say, is pretty good. I had fun with that one. Real chart heavy, though.
Yeah. Well, here's a good question. I'll let Kev go first, because his answer will probably be about 30 seconds.
Yeah, mine's pretty quick. I mean, I record a little bit of video for every game I play. Every game I play will get some, if it's not just a review, it'll be, I don't do reviews per se, but it'll be commentary on my gameplay and what I liked about it, didn't like about it. And then everything else is turn by turn summaries and stuff like that. I don't do any, because I don't have the patience to do like what Mo does with his tutorials and stuff like that. So that's my 30-second take.
That was easy, quick and dirty. 8.
percentage is video production.
Yeah, how much time do you spend on video versus gameplay?
That takes more time than game. Filming the game is the easy part. The hard part is all the production, because I do all my own sound, I do my own video editing.
Yeah.
I use Premiere Pro from Adobe.
Ooh.
And they have come up with their latest update has a beautiful button, because I used to have to go in there and manually adjust.
That's why you've been putting yourself on screen and has a button that says beautiful, and you're like,
Yeah,
"Ooh, it
yeah.
makes me beautiful." I'm putting myself in on the screen now.
You know how some of them, depending on where you're filming, if there's any background noise or echo or hum, you got to go in and post, and you got to pull all that out, reduce any of that. I used to have to go in there and manually do that for every segment the whole way through, and it took forever to get across it. Now there's a button, enhance speech. I hit enhance speech and just leave it. A few minutes later, it's tweaked all the voice and it's made it perfect. I don't have to do anything else on top.
Nice.
It does all the reduce noise, all the de-humming, de-reverb, all the other bull crap. The only thing that I try to do on top of that is something that's called dynamics. And it's where you'll go in there and you can audio or auto gate a certain sound level. And because of where my mics are located versus where I'm located, occasionally you hear me breathing, and it gets kind of breathy, and you want to remove stuff like that.
Creepy.
It's kind of sexy in its own dirty way.
Yeah,
I say creepy, and Kev says sexy. I'm like,
what's that shit that they do online? ASM something. Like where girls talking to the mic and shit. So I cut that crap out, but you have to go in there and audio gate it. So you have to pick a certain decibel level, and it'll automatically cut out any sounds below that.
Dude, well, you're like, next level pro. I turn my phone on, press record, and if it works out, great.
Upload.
And upload
Well, it's not
it.
just that. I have to match all the video, so I have cues that I give myself. I'll say a number or something, that way I can match up, because I've got two video streams, one that's filming it, one that's filming me. And I have to line those up. Otherwise, it looks like a Japanese dub, mouth movie. So I have to line up the audio that I'm speaking to
I
match
wanted
my
to do
mouth.
that. Yeah, I wanted to do all that, and then I started looking at it. It's like, you know what? I really don't
This
care.
is
enough.
work.
Screw
this
well,
shit.
it's just work, And like I used to do those stop motion videos, and it was an hour of recording and work and edit. It was an hour of editing for every minute of gameplay video that you saw. And and you do tutorials, then you stuff something up. You got to go back and re-record it, and then you say something else different.
Well, it's not just that. You got to remember, I'm epileptic, and I've caught seizures on my recordings before.
You should share those. Are they fun?
No, it's not grand malls. It's petite malls. It's the small ones. So you'll see my hands or me in the video, and I just stop and I blank out for like 20 seconds.
Like that.
Yeah, then I'm gone. And then when I come back, I have to edit that part out, because it's 20 seconds of dead
we
air.
have to edit this whole thing out, because we have to put a picture of him just smiling or something that. You
did
totally
something
went off
happen?
screen, dude.
What happened to my camera? Let me
That's why we laughed, because it was perfect friggin' timing.
talk about the odds, man. What are the freaking odds?
That's hilarious.
Professional we
somebody
are.
had to have
We
gotten
make things happen like that.
I wonder if my
Meanwhile, I've got some light is flickering. I don't know what's going on. Can you see a flickering light? Is it?
I don't see anything flickering right now. Maybe it's just too low to be picked up on the camera.
Oh, that's cool. I'm gonna go put my light back on then. I turned all the lights off because I thought it'd be really annoying for the viewers. See, that's about as much as I care.
Did anybody else notice that? Did it bother anybody else? If it did, too bad. No, I mean, if it did, let us know. But
because I'd like to put the lights on instead of having the dark.
what the hell?
yeah, whatever's comfortable. Go ahead and do it. Okay, Nate.
What? I'm still here.
Totally
I'm still
disappeared.
here. But for
So
some
this
reason,
is what we talk about, and it takes time to do editing, because things like this happen. But in post, you can do it with no one around.
yeah. For some reason, my video has cut out. Now let's see if it's finally coming
Shut
back.
up, Fango.
My camera, it's still giving me that waiting for connection.
Sexy Hexy in the house. Nordic is here. Aaron is here.
He's the guy that plays Akin.
He plays Aiken. Aaron Aiken. Aiken with Aaron. Why is my face on your screen? That is really friggin' creepy.
Here, we'll go over here. There you go.
Okay.
I was holding up my camera. I wanted to make sure I fixed it before I put it back on. Give me just a sec here. There we go. All right. For some reason,
yourself, at least for right now. Okay. That means you
Wi-Fi
need more whiskey.
I don't know what the hell went on with that. It just blanked out there for a second and it lost me.
We noticed.
Yeah.
So you were talking about your whole production I mean, like audio is definitely a pain because you have to get the auto levels. You know, you can do auto levels, but you got to level them all out, and then you got to play around with removing your background noise, your humming, your reverb, all that stuff needs to be. And then if you have, like, part of your workflow is to have a set way that you want your audio to sound based on the microphone you're using, then you'll have that as a preset if you use the same conditions all the time. If anything changes, then you're going to have to tweak it from there. But yeah, having that easy button like that definitely helps.
Well, I'll tell you, one of the
I got an easy button, just it's a red one right here.
I got a couple of pieces of gear that really helped me out. One is a stand that holds my camera, and it maintains it in whatever spot that I put it. So if I've got it above, I can bring it in close, whatever. It's all spring loaded, so it just holds it there. Similar to Stuka's setup, except I can move mine in a 3D space. And that plus the green screen. You know those what projector things that the teachers used to pull down? What do you call that thing?
Projector screen.
Projector screen.
Something like that. You know, they go up to the front of the classroom and they pull it down.
Yeah, projector screen.
I've got one of those, except instead of it being white, it's green. So I can.
That's called a green.
Yeah, it's called a green screen. Yeah. Hey, welcome to 2024.
That's what I use to blank out.
He's like the little brother we always pick on.
Jesus.
Keep it up and I'll put you on camera again.
That is creepy. That is creepy. You'll spook everybody out of the room.
Look, to answer your question, I would say for every minute that you see me recording, there's 5 behind it that are editing.
Yeah.
Whether it's sound or video. Yeah. So that's the long part.
Now, so let me ask. So I know, and I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead, Mo. Go ahead.
No. I'm saying, yeah, it's true. No, go ahead.
I was just curious because I know you put a lot of time and effort in your videos. Do you feel like it's worth it for the monetization and all the rest of it, or is it just a personal satisfaction thing? Where does the line get drawn on? I'm not doing this anymore.
The creepy. Well, while we're waiting for Nate to get all the creepy close-ups done, I would say 100% it has zero to do with monetization because there's, I don't know, tens of cents to be made every month. There's really no money in YouTube. There really is not. I mean, if you want to go ahead and push out a lot of videos, a lot of content every day, just to have content flowing, then you get in the algorithm, they get more attention, you can boost your thing. But even then, it's like, I got a day job. How much effort do I want to put into this? And what's the return? Am I going to make, am I going to make $100 a month, 150 for all that extra effort? That's not worth it. To me, it's not worth it.
Different way to look at this. And it's the way that I've had my mindset from the start of it is I consider the fact that it makes my hobby cost neutral. Right.
Oh, yeah.
And anything extra on top of that, that's gravy. If I didn't do this, if I didn't put in all this work doing the videos and the reviews and everything, I couldn't afford to wargame, right? I get by on, military retirement. It's not a lot. I couldn't afford all the games. So being able to offset that cost by putting in the work, right? I mean, that has a monetary value to me. That allows me to.
That makes sense. Yeah. No, that's cool. I was just curious about it because you do a lot of work, and Mo does a lot of work. Mo does all the tutorials and stuff, and I know you've got your thing with Compass and everything about you doing that for them. But I think I'm just curious about how much. Like, I used to put a lot of effort into the videos with titles and pre-rolls and all this sort of stuff, and I would get 500 views or 1,000 views or 4 views or whatever it was. And like doing what I do now, I get just as many. So I mean, and I do it because I don't do any of the editing because I want to play the games, and I just want to play the games, and I'm happy to share what I do and how I do it and my experiences, and that's what I like. I love sharing my experiences. It's fun for me to do that. It's a little bit of just, being the sad, lonely guy in the war game room. I can at least chat to you guys and say, "Oh, I had a terrible time with this game. It hurt my feelings." So I could do that. But it's just, I don't want to spend all that time going that deep into the production side of it.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Part of it might be a Marine thing. I mean, one of the things they hammer in
Attention
is
to detail.
There you go. Beat me to it. Attention to details. The little minute things just fuck me. Right?
I will watch some of my videos, especially like the learner plays, and I'm like, son of a bitch. And I'm like, that's not right. It's off by like a millimeter or whatever. It's off by like the tiniest bit. It's not perfectly centered. And I had to let that go because, I mean, I still do that to a vast degree, but I will look at it and go, okay, I'm sitting here and I'm moving this thing, and it keeps, because sometimes it'll just reset itself and auto center and it pisses me off. And I'm like, damn it, screw it. I'm tired. I've been working on this thing for 8 hours already. I'm done, for tonight. I'm going to come back tomorrow. And it is very time consuming, but it's really personal more than anything else. I want to see with the learn to play is the way I'm doing them is the way I want to see them. I want to see a learn to play done that way. Like as you're explaining the rule, you see it's rule 16.7, so that way it sticks in your head and oh, this, Zox or whatever is rule 1607. So it triggers in your head when you're playing the game. And then you show different things on screen as it's being explained to support that, to try to keep everybody engaged and also to, emphasize what unit is being moved and stuff like that. That's why you outline the hex and so on and so forth. But it's very time consuming. It can be very frustrating and maddening at times, but it's definitely, it's enjoyable in the fact that I feel that I'm giving a good product to the community at that point. So it's satisfying to me. And like Nordic was saying, the $100 could get you a couple games. I'd like to make $100 in a month on YouTube. I don't, and I don't care.
Any money on YouTube?
No. Like maybe $20-$30 a month. Oh. That's it. I don't chase after views. I don't do any of that stuff. That's literally all I get.
You guys are lightweights. I make $4 a month on my Substack. I got that going for me.
But the way I don't do it for that.
6 subscribers.
The money I do make literally pays for just like StreamYard. And
exactly.
Editing software. That's literally it. And I don't care. I'm not here for that. And this isn't an ego thing. This isn't I want to be somebody in my mind or whatever. No, I'm just trying to do something to help the community, and I feel better that the product comes out looking the way it does.
First convention I ever went to with you, I remember walking around with you. Everybody's, hey Mo, good to see you, Mo. Hey, what's going on, Mo?
That's because he's a nice guy. He's not an asshole like you. That's why.
Hey, come on, let me introduce. I know this guy, and I know this.
Well, the key is you got to bring a bottle of whiskey everywhere you go, and you share it with everybody, and everybody likes you. That's the key.
Yeah.
No, but I just enjoy it. And I know, Nate, you've done a lot of tutorial videos yourself, and you know how time consuming, especially when you're doing it with the game on the table, because then you have to make sure that everything's set right, the lighting's right. And that's why doing a game, people like, oh, why don't you do a learn to plays with the live game? It's like, no, that's way too much of a headache.
I remember when I was doing those boot camp series, the biggest problem was, and part of the reason I started running multiple tables was once I started it, I couldn't stop it. I had to continue on because I had the setup for it, and I needed it to stay consistent between each one of the boot camps. So for however long it took me, 2 months, I was cracking out as many of those little 5-minute videos as possible. I think the most I did was something like 7 or 8 in a week. And I was getting 1 a day, 2 a day done, just depending on how quickly I could crack them out.
I was just catching some of the comments here. People are watching the hockey game and say, wow, guy slashed a ref by accident. Never seen that before. Yeah, you get hit with sticks accidentally on an, hey, how's it going? How's your knee?
No,
it's okay. It's not good.
Not good.
I mean, it's
Well,
good, but it's not good. You know,
yeah,
it's that part of the where it has to hurt to get better. So that's where we're at.
yeah.
It works
Well,
for
make
me.
sure
She
you
can
make
get
him
away.
do all the work.
Yeah,
does.
right. Have you met him?
Have I? You tell me I don't help?
Help, yes. Do all the work? No.
No, I'm not doing all the work.
All right. Bye.
That's why we have women, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Nate is
Let me
in
do it away
so
from the
much
stove.
trouble now.
Just give him that.
I'll give it to him.
I'm putting him in the hallway.
All right. Love you too.
Love you.
Yeah, you'll get hit with sticks, you'll get hit with pucks. And that one of the easiest things if you want to get a referee's attention is clear the puck when he's around. And just clear it up the boards that he happens to be along. And
Don't they wear
yeah.
pads?
What's that?
They wear pads.
You ever been hit with a hockey puck?
Nope.
I've
only been on
numerous times.
Once.
If when you're reffing, you have less pads on than the players do. You have a girdle that helps protect your hips and your tailbone and your thighs to a degree. But if some guy just winds up and takes a 70 or 80 or 90 mile an hour slap shot to clear the zone, if they're on a penalty kill and it goes up, up the boards where you're at, you get clipped in the back of the knee where there's no padding, you're going down like you've been shot, dude. Painful. So let's see what else I got to catch up on.
I'll tell you what, Stuka, there was only one series I did that I did so badly I pulled it down and reshot the whole thing. And for some reason I had gotten the shooting rules backwards. The high was low, low was high. Basically, I was saying the exact opposite of what it was supposed to be.
No.
And I didn't catch it until after I'd filmed 2 or 3 of the videos. So I was like, no, that's a little mistake I'll leave in just so I can annotate it and point out to people, hey, I made a mistake here. Don't make the same mistake.
Yeah.
Sure.
But that one was blatant. It was so bad I couldn't do it. And I had to rip it down. And some people were messaging me like, no, put it back up. It was a good series. I'm like, look, it's coming. I'm redoing it. It was just too bad to leave up.
And that's, Mike's saying sounds exactly what game designers make, about 5 cents an hour. And which is true when you look at the hours that are put into these games, the years that designers do. And then
depending on which designer.
Well, yeah, but I mean, generally the years of designer and a developer, you don't want to just throw something together and say, hey, yeah, let's see, what are we missing? Nukes. Boom. Okay.
Is that a map of Europe? Is that a map of Europe? Is that a map of Europe? Are they nuke counters? I have an idea for a game.
Yeah, let's throw in some kaiju too while we're at it. Yeah. But the whole thing is it comes down to just a passion project, how much you love it, how much you care about the subject, you want to put it out there, and how much you want to give to the community, because I mean that's really what it comes down to, is how much do we enjoy this community, how much we want to put the effort into it.
But I know some designers, they make the same type mistakes. They will write the rules or think of the game from their own personal perspective, and they don't think of it from outside of it. It's like, okay, you understand it because you designed it, you built it, but others aren't understanding it. They don't just naturally understand the point you're trying to get across. That's why you need, what's it called, a developer?
Developer, yeah.
Yeah.
So, John, why do you hate the community word? Should I just say, I do this for all you greedy fuckers? I mean, what do you want me to say?
You group of guys, so we feud, we band of brothers.
Jason's got it right. Canadian iced tea.
What's wrong with
but no, I mean the community is the just the phrase everybody uses when we're saying war gamers.
Group of people.
We use guys.
The retirement home.
Use guys, as we say in Jersey.
Whoa!
Yeah, shots fired. Shots fired.
What's that?
Oh no, I'm just I pressed the remote control and the lights went.
I was saying that you could call it the retirement home instead.
Yeah, there you go. Oh yeah, they do. They definitely do. But I think it really comes down to I guess you could say that we have a fetish with doing videos.
A fetish. Yeah, wow, but unfortunately none of us know anything about history. We're not historians. We're not professional historians.
It's not like I had majored in history in college. Well, wait.
Oh, okay. So now John says, call us wargamers, players, customers. All right. I'm going to bill you now because you are now a customer. No, I think community is better than just saying, customers is cheesy. It makes us sound like we're selling product and we're not. We're just war gamers like you guys, and we just happen to like to do YouTube stuff. Anybody can do it, and we want everybody to do it. Everybody that can, and it doesn't matter what your production level is.
Well, we don't
Put
want
stuff out there.
everyone to do it.
Well, we want people to be involved. We encourage everybody to get out there and share their voice.
I did like 20 videos last year or the year before of guys that had 1,000, less than 1,000 subscribers. There's so many out there. Just trying to get them up to that 1,000 level so they can do more stuff.
Oh, speaking of which, I was going to shout out a new guy that I had stumbled across, and I was wanting to give him credit because he was actually playing campaign for North Africa.
Oh, yeah, I saw that guy. Yeah.
Clay something. Clay.
Oh, Clay Stone? No,
yeah.
There's another guy that's doing it too. Yeah, Clay's been around forever. He's an awesome guy. I played.
Gonna stick around, Nordic?
I hadn't seen him before, so I wanted
stick around for a little.
Shout him out.
Yeah, he's cool.
Taking the time to play campaign for North Africa. I mean, that's some balls.
He plays parts of it. He's not playing the campaign.
Playing any of it. I mean, it's campaign for North Africa. That's a tremendous game to try to burn your head through.
Yeah, it is. But it's not. I mean, it's a lot of paperwork is what it is. But he's got a lot of cool spreadsheets that he's built and had other people build for him.
Well, who are you thinking of?
There's another dude that's playing as well, and I can't remember his name. It's completely different. He has like 4 subscribers or something. I'll have to find it. We'll talk about it next show.
All right.
Gilroy's here.
Yeah,
Gilroy is here, not was here.
Yeah,
so Nordic says he's gonna stick around. We twisted his arm and better pour me a drink. Well, we'll pour you a drink of some haterade.
Some haterade.
We've been talking back and forth on social media about some things, and that's why I said fetish, because it's kind of the word that was thrown around. It's a word we don't use, but other people do. Because the other day there was a game that was brought up, Other Side of the Hill, I think it was, is the name of it. Yeah, it's a Euro game by NAC Wargames, and they were giving out an Iron Cross as a giveaway at Eschenspiel. Or Essenspiel, I guess it's the other way around with the sh sound, but they had given it away because I think you had said that was also a Kickstarter giveaway or something like that, or a stretch goal.
I think it was a stretch goal. Yeah.
Okay, so they were doing that because the game is centers around playing as the German leadership in World War II. It's a co-opetition game where you're playing cooperatively, but at the same time you're competing against other groups, because it's all like different groups of leaders in the
factions.
Yeah, in the German high command, and they all have different factions. They have different goals and stuff like that, which is it sounds like an interesting subject. It sounds like something that is interesting to explore. And I know, the whole thing about the Iron Cross though made me laugh because people were like flipping out about it. I looked at it and I'm like, that's a very plain Iron Cross. There's no 1939. There's no swastika on it. It's just a standard Iron Cross, which has been around for a couple hundred years. Yep. And I made the comment, and then of course you get jumped for it because I'm not being sensitive or whatever, because I stated fact that it's been around since the Prussian era. It really has.
You're whitewashing history.
Yeah. And I said, and by the way, it was actually brought back into existence in 2008. Now the style is different. It's now a gold cross instead of the standard black and silver Iron Cross, which always was. And there's no other, and on that cross they gave with the game, there was no identification with the Nazis, so it wasn't idolizing or making a big deal out of Nazis or whatever. So of course, some people were like, "This is ridiculous," and of course it went from there to, "You guys you're apologists for the Nazis," or these people they're fetishizing Nazism. It's like, no, all I said was it was literally the cross that has been given out for over 200 years by the German army, German military, Prussians and the Germans.
Right.
And then of course they tried spinning off into different things, and I was just like, yeah, whatever. And then people were like, why are you arguing this? I'm like, I'm not arguing, I'm just discussing. So someone said, well, then why are you here? I says, well, I'm out, I'll exit the chat, and I left. It's just like, it's not worth the time, because It's like water beating on a rock. You just
Yeah,
can't.
you're not going to prove anything to them or change their opinion. They've got this preconceived notion of their little sanitized, don't have a little sanitized view of the world. It's just
Well, how strong can your position be if you attack everyone who disagrees with you? If you can't withstand the smallest amount of criticism, then your position can't be that strong. Not to mention the fact I was thinking about this stuff, and I think people have a human nature. People have a fascination with evil and the bad things of this world. Think about it, that show, The Man in the High Castle, right? You guys ever see it?
Mhm.
Right. Germany and Japan win World War II and they've taken over the world. They own America now. That show's a hit. People love that show. Now, yes, there's some sci-fi BS to it, but it's basically
What do you mean some sci-fi? The whole thing was sci-fi.
I don't want to spoil it for those who haven't seen it.
Yeah.
But yes.
Spoiler alert.
One of the most popular characters is Smith, right? The leader of the German Reich in the US and what's going on with his family. People are watching this show because they're interested in it. They're not watching it because they're apologists or some shit. Back down your little high horse about getting offended by any little thing that you see. Right? It's just history. There's just stuff that happens. They act like it's radioactive and contaminated. And if you see it or touch it or get anywhere near it, then you're going to be affected by it.
Yeah. Well, I guess there's a couple of things, right? There's the sort of macro level where, just as Nordic said here, that with Facebook sanitizing, taking his comment down, taking my photograph down of the history of the Iron Cross, which just went from all the way back in Prussian days to current times, took that down. That was hate speech, which I received a ban for in my new group. So, which, by the way,
it's your own group.
Yeah, it was my own group and I got banned in, and I moved that big board gaming on Facebook to a community group so people can chime in and post their own stuff. Otherwise, it's only me posting. Anyway, so I got banned on my own group. Nordic's post got taken down. And there's that macro level. And then at the wargaming level, we've got people who are insistent that we change wargaming to be conflict simulations, that we include things that have nothing to do with kinetic warfare or combat or any of that are not war games. They're Euro games that deal with the suffrage movement or, two people arguing over, how to make bread. Well, I don't, that's an exaggeration, but
checkers.
Yeah. Whatever it is, they're trying to, what I think for the benefit of the hobby, make the tent bigger. Okay, that's fine, but we play war games. We play historical war games and sci-fi.
Make some more war games and have people play war games.
We have more war games that we can handle, and we have all sorts of intro games. So there's that level of it. And I think those folks are the ones that piss me off the most because they're pushing an agenda, and they use this Iron Cross and Herman Luttman's game.
Well, yeah.
Right.
I'm going to say there's two things that trigger them always. And pretty much only those two things.
Right. Well, and then there was the whole, what was that GMT game that got canned for
Africa.
Yeah, right. Scramble for Africa. Probably not the most sensitive game in the world, but nevertheless, it's a game and someone wanted to design it. And if a publisher wants to take it on, who are you? Harold Buchanan and Freddie, and I don't know if we're naming names, and I don't care anyway. You can come and blackball me for all you want.
Jan.
All these guys, and some of the dudes that are complaining about it have Stalin as their icon, as their little logo face. Like they're clearly coming from a leftist viewpoint. Then Volky Runke has got his little article that at least he took the time to look at the other side of the hill and give an objective viewpoint about it.
Mm-hmm.
But even his and he was very positive about the game and thought it was worthwhile that we explore as war gamers, not as Harold said here, with very few exceptions. We are not professional historians, and our work is a hobby level endeavor. Let's not pretend otherwise. Go fuck yourself. But
that's an appeal to authority. I mean, who's he?
Who's he think he is?
I majored in history in college. Does that mean I count as a professional historian?
Have you made $1 as a historian?
Yeah.
Did you stay at a Holiday Inn Express lab?
Where do you draw it? right?
Right.
Who is he to determine
Right.
who's a professional?
Well, that's the
Yeah.
thing that gets me with all this is what Kev's talking about is there is a small minority of people who are trying to constantly be vocal. They have faux rage, as they call it, fake outrage at every little
Right.
thing.
Every little thing. Right.
And then they want to change us because we're bad. Meanwhile, these people are all very new. Most of them are Euro gamers that really don't play war games that much. Because one of the things that I remember distinctly several years ago, all these people were complaining about was the difficulty of getting into war games because the rule books are too long. And even Harold was saying we need to simplify the war games by making them shorter and easier to get into. Now, there's an argument for that. There is, and there are games that do that now and have always done that. And that's a separate thing altogether. But it is what it is. Either you're going to like it or you don't. It's just like an 18xx game it is what it is. Are you going to sit down with other 18xx players and sit there for 6, 8, 9, 10, 10, or 10, 11, 12 hours, which is what it takes to play those games? Or are you not? You know, it's just the game. You either like it or you don't. But don't come in and try to dictate to everybody that this is the way I want it to be. Well, if you want to affect change, then come in and design a simpler war game. You know, like, make it easier for people, you know, to approach instead of trying to be an activist. And like you said, they're always triggered by anything Nazi and anything Confederacy. And meanwhile, they all have Bolshevik bullshit all over their stuff.
Yeah, they're all got this Bolshevik nonsense on it. So, and if you don't like it, just don't play it. And if you don't like the hobby the way it is, or the hobby group, or the community group, or the wargamers group, start your own group. You know, I'm not into sewing. I don't sew. I'm not going to come into there and say, hey, you need to include me. Even though I don't like sewing, I want you to do crochet instead of sewing, or I want you to, you know, I don't know what the
they have a
very is, but it just
no, you're right. You don't go into something that you're not, you know, experienced with, or you don't really care about, and then say you need to change for me. You know what? I'm coming into this crochet group, and I don't think there's enough war games in it, so we need to change that.
Yeah, I want everyone to have
get the fuck out of here.
Cucumber sandwiches instead of cheese sandwiches or whatever it is.
It's
anyway,
the fascistic mindset, right? They claim to hate what they are, but if a independent free thinker doesn't like something, he just doesn't participate in it. But if they don't like something, it needs to be destroyed. It needs to be canceled. If they don't agree with it, then it's not allowed to exist.
Well, that's the thing. And if you complain or you have a counter argument or a difference of opinion, immediately you're labeled a gatekeeper. And if that is the definition of gatekeeper now, then I'm happy to be called the gatekeeper by saying, no, that is not a war game. It's something else. It is literally not a war game. It is, you know, so you want to call me a gatekeeper for that?
Yeah,
if that makes you feel good, go for it.
And if if it's not that, then if you stand up and say stuff and point stuff out, and I'm perhaps, you know, a little more pointed and slightly less diplomatic than some folks. But
it's like calling a dinosaur a lizard.
Yeah, but you know,
they are.
Then they play the victim card. Oh, you're so mean. Why are you attacking me? I'm only really just calling out the fact that you're a fucking idiot. I'm sorry.
Well, that's the thing. There's always like I said, I have the term that I use with people like that, not just in wargaming or whatever, just in life. They're the people that are just unhappy. They constantly want to complain and say, you need to change to my way. And then when you stand up, say something back to them, hurt their feelings, which is not hard to do because somehow imaginary wise in their brain, you hurt their feelings. That way they can go back into their standard mode, which is PVC, perpetual victim complex. They always are the victim. And no, you're not. You can have differences of opinion. You know, I mean, there was several years ago at STHiscon online, there were people talking in there in a chat, and somebody had said something. Well, there were a couple of things that we were talking about, and one of them was, how can a woman go to a wargaming convention? You know, and they're like, well, we would need to do this and that. And it's like, how about she just walk through the door? I mean, there were audible gasps in the chat. That's said from a position of privilege. How dare you? And I'm like, she can just walk in the door. No one's going to kick her out. No one's going to be mean to her. I've never seen that. And people said to me, "Oh, I've seen that," and one guy specifically said, "I've seen it right in front of me." And I said to him,
No, you haven't.
what did you
Well,
see?
what did you do?
Well, yeah. I said, "What did you see?" "Well, this person was picking on this person and, being very mean and all because she's a female." I said, "What did you do?" I said, "What did you do?" "What could I do?" I said, "You did nothing. That's on you."
Yeah.
If I see something like that happen in front of me, I will call it out.
Yeah.
I've never seen that happen in front of me.
No,
So
did you
that's
see that
why
picture?
these people saying stuff now, I want to see examples. Show examples or it didn't happen.
Couple years back, there was a picture, and it was a couple of real pretty ladies standing next to a war game, and they were like, hey, look, something like that. I mean, a couple real nice lookers. But I remember the same group that we're talking about now was all of they're exploiting women. They're taking advantage of them. It's like you complain there are not enough women, but then when there are women standing right next to a war game table, and they weren't just Vanna White in the thing. I think they were the wives of some of the war gamers.
They were the wives. Yeah, I've met all those guys, and I've met all those women. They're all
and they were giving them
lovely
hell.
ladies. Yeah, yeah,
Like when women show up, you complain about it.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're creating the problem that you're actually complaining about.
All I've ever seen when women show up at a war game convention, whether it is with their husband, boyfriend, or whatever, either to just be with them and hang out and then leave, or if they want to play. I've never seen anything, honestly, in all the conventions, all the game days I've been to, never seen anything but respect and decency, and guys will bend over backwards to help. So the mythology that's being pushed around about people being mean and everything else, it's bullshit. And I want to see direct examples. Otherwise, quit the bullshit, because it's tiresome, and I'm calling it, saying it's bullshit, you're lying, and that's that.
Well, and one thing that's interesting to me is the first few times I brought this up and pushed back against it, I got a lot of shit from people, which whatever. And fast forward to now, this has been going on for 4 or 5 years with the knuckleheads, and so but lately, I mean, people are done with it. I think people have realized that the hobby, there are let's call them agitators or activists. Let's call them agitators because activists
are agitators.
Too grand. The agitators in the hobby, and people are just done with it. They don't want to put up with the BS. They just want to play their games. They don't want to have to decide whether it's ethical to play the Germans. They don't want to decide whether it's ethical to play the Russians. They just want to play, and they want to explore history, have some fun, drink some beers with their buddies, or Diet Coke, whatever you want, right?
Yeah.
Or whiskey and Diet Coke, whatever. I mean,
no, 100%. That's the thing. It's the thing that gets me is, it's always the same group is always seeing these same things and always pointing out that, this is the hobby. This is the problem with the hobby. We can't get more people in. Well, you know what? Newsflash. The wargaming hobby is doing very well.
Just fine without you.
It is thriving. It is
just
still
fine without you.
It's still graying.
Yeah.
It grays because we all get older. And the reason why it's graying is because we're still playing these games into our 50s, 60s, 70s.
Yeah.
Well, we found out that
He's got a good point.
That one reviewer that was making all the comments about, the stuff that they complain about, turns out they weren't even reviewing the games. They were just stealing the reviews from others who had done the reviews.
Well, yeah, that was Katie who was plagiarizing.
I didn't know
all
if
her
we were
reviews.
naming names or not.
Yeah. No, you can name a name. I mean, she was the one who was, there was also with her, and this is the whole thing. The problem is this all is a bleed over from the hobby gaming side, which is incredibly toxic. It was fine until about 7-8 years ago, and then they just all lost their minds, and not all of them, but majority of people lost their minds and just had meltdowns and started just creating a very toxic space. And now you're seeing it bleed over from the hobby gaming, and these people are trying to get influence in the war game sphere. And in some ways they're able to do that. But, the thing is for war gamers, we're not in the same realm as them. We're in our own world. War gamers are here. They're orbiting it. They're trying to act like they're part of it, and they're trying to influence it. And they're not part of the group. You know, that's just the thing, because they don't they don't really play war games, but they'll criticize. You can't play the Germans. You can't play the Confederates. Yada yada yada. Whatever. You know, can't play the Confederates. They're slavers. Meanwhile, the next day they'll be like, "Hey, we're going to play as the Romans." Tell me you don't know anything about history without telling me you don't know anything about history.
Exactly.
The Romans had slaves too. A lot of them.
Same with the Greeks, same with the Persians. I mean, it was just
Same with the Japanese.
Yeah.
Right.
They're perfectly fine with the red circle, even though the Japanese had, what was it called? Project 731 in World War II. They committed atrocities that would put the Germans to shame.
Oh yeah.
Right? It's nobody knows about this stuff. No, I mean,
they were freezing their arms and then pouring boiling water over them, and they were falling off and shit like that.
Brutalizing pregnant women, the
live
whole
vivisections.
All right, that's enough.
Yeah, but they were horrible too. But they don't say a word about a Japanese flag being in a game. But heaven forbid you got a German flag or a Confederate flag.
Well, speaking of which, on a more positive and uplifting note, do we have any other...
I'm gonna see if we can get some update on the breaking news, but let's see here if this person is on Facebook.
I think this person lost sound.
Yeah, the person might have lost sound, but I'm trying to see if I get hold of that person on Facebook and see if they want to join us. But we'll see if which is a hint, by the way.
Did you not send the link beforehand?
No, I didn't want to confuse it, but
were you not trying to confuse him, or
I was trying to keep it simple as possible.
I think you messed that up, bro.
He lost the sound. Uh-oh. He did say he lost the sound. Here, let me see if I can.
Well, he doesn't need to hear anything. He just needs to talk.
I'll tell you what,
That's
though,
true.
Stuka. I got mad. The stuff they were saying about you, man, because you've always been just the nicest, welcomingest guy, easygoing. That crawl, ooh, that was up my crawl. I was pissed.
Well, yeah, and it was, they kind of went after Stuka Joe too, and I was just like, give me a break. I mean,
of all the guys to go after.
Yeah,
it's
there are people that live in a moral high ground of their own imagination. So
you don't get to act like that.
This was on the NAC thing as well.
Yeah, the NAC.
Yeah.
That was the same thing the other day. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I did like his responses, though.
Yeah.
I think that was just driving him nuts.
I think it's awesome.
The Leo DiCaprio of wargaming.
He only dates 20-year-olds.
Hey, can you fault the guy?
I mean, no, I don't get why people give that guy so much crap. Any guy in his situation, 20, 25, yep, okay, good to go. As long as he can handle the business.
So, Nordic, you're the problem. You're problematic, and there's not a damn thing anybody can do about it.
Exactly.
But yeah, we're going to see if I do like this one. CSDQ. So, okay, hold on. I got some. I got a late breaking update here. We have breaking news.
Oh, you finally.
And look who we got here joining us. David from Lock and Load Publishing.
Hang on 1 second, guys.
Oh, you're totally broke the whole mojo. Jeez, God. Who brought this guy in?
He's a lot smaller now.
Maybe he's talking to somebody from China.
Could be talking to China.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Hey, what's
going
up?
So you got some breaking news, I hear.
Yeah. I don't know if I can't show you a picture.
Yeah, you can share screen.
You can share. Yeah, share your screen.
Yeah,
Go down to present.
Go down to present. Yep, same as you do normally.
You know what? I'm just going to send you an image. You know what? Put up the image I sent you earlier.
Okay. Oh, that's in my. Hold on. I think I did.
It's on my phone. Otherwise I pull it up.
I got it.
I think it's on my phone, but I think I also have it here. Hold on.
And my phone's right.
Oh, I don't. Yeah.
Stand by.
Well, let's see. Yeah, you go ahead and send it to me in chat. This is totally professional.
This will be easier. If I just do it this way, can I just hang on?
We really aren't.
If you can share it, that's better. What's that?
The news has been breaking for about 10 minutes now
No, it's not. Shh.
without actually broken.
It's not breaking. It's not broken.
Yes, spare rib people went after Stuka. Evil people.
So I did. There is one other question while we're waiting for this. Let's see. Here we go. Woohoo!
There it is. We found it.
There it is, guys. There's the breaking news.
Dun dun dun.
They should have figured that out by now.
The games are on the boat.
No, I think you know what would be really funny.
The boat gets torpedoed.
No. It would be really funny.
Don't you jinx.
No, this is great. It would be really funny. Is if he posted a picture of a Lamborghini and said, "Fuck all you guys, I bought a Lambo." I think that would have been awesome.
The game's on the boat. You should have said the game's on the boat with a Lamborghini on the boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, guys. I meant my
Wrong
car
picture.
is on the boat.
Sorry, I couldn't help myself. All right.
Well, that's great news. And the even better news about that is the fact that, which we've talked about already, was there's no more strike with those spoiled bitches wanting more money than they're worth.
Yeah, that's
The
cool.
Chinese were on strike.
No, the longshoremen. They
Yeah.
wanted like $11 billion more to do a job that's already half automated. And they don't want to have any more automation because they're afraid they'll lose their jobs.
You know, we should do that. Wargamers go on strike.
Yeah, that'll help.
Yeah,
I don't think the publishers want that.
Yeah. Oh, and speaking of which, now that Dave's here, actually, the other game that although I haven't got it set up, I am reading the rules for First Victories to use the solo bot and try and explore the solo bot. So that's my other title that I'm working on amongst those other things.
Nice.
Just do a little sucking up there, Dave. Just let you know that it's not
I'll
like
take it.
Yep.
That was true. Going back to the other topic for a second, he did question testosterone levels, and they kind of went ballistic. It's like, well, you know what? The response really on that one that I heard in the back of my head was, "You sunk my battleship."
Yeah, there's a cream for that.
Target fire for effect. Yes, there is.
So now we'll see how long it takes us to get a name of the boat, how long they take the boat to get here.
Yeah,
And
what
it's
is
still
it?
gotta
Like
be
6-7 weeks?
distributed.
I don't know. They always tell me it's 8 weeks, but honestly, I don't think it's ever taken 8 weeks. It's usually taken 4 to 6 weeks. But
Well, it depends on stops too. Yeah.
yeah, it also, the reason it took so long, or so they claim why it took so long, was because one, it was their Christmas season, which does make sense, and I do know that. And the second part was everyone was panicking of the strike, and so everyone rerouted or ordered more or ordered quicker to get it through the West Coast ports. But I heard that the West Coast shoremen were going to strike in solidarity, with the East Coast people, which didn't seem to come up at all.
Wow.
I've seen a lot of stories about containers falling off boats. Just saying, the only time that container would fall off a boat now is if we all kind of got together and got a boat and we intercepted it and we pulled the damn thing off to get the games ahead of time.
Yeah, you have to be in a pretty big storm for that.
Oh yeah. But no, that's great. That's great news. I know that's something you've been really looking forward to, and as have all the gamers, obviously. But you definitely wanted to get to be able to make that announcement that finally the games are on the ship and they're on their way.
Yeah, no, it just came in today, and we'll just see how it goes. And this will be the best packaged game I could know how to make. I mean, we double boxed it, including the game box, so we'll see how well it gets to people. You guys got copies of it. We did redo the maps box. So you got the tube. That's a thick tube. The next tube is 5 millimeters. You know how thick that is?
Wow.
Yeah, but they're going to put all the maps in the square box now. So they got the tube, goes in the square box, and then that's what gets mailed.
Oh,
wow.
that's perfect. Yeah, that's much better because mine suffered, but they made it. They're not damaged either, but they made it.
Yeah.
All the packaging got damaged for the maps, but they all made it. I found out why it took everybody so long to get the maps. because the tube.
You never sent them?
No. The tube has
Don't
a
even.
label. It goes
That's
around.
gonna get
You can't
clipped.
scan it.
He left him in the trunk of the Lamborghini.
Yeah. Yes. Next to my yacht.
Left them in the Batcave. Yeah.
Too funny. Yeah, just speaking of drama queens, the whole exercise you went through, I'll be waiting for their apology. It won't come, but I'll be waiting.
No.
Do you know someone doxed my wife again?
No way.
Just the other day. I kid you not. And if I find out who it is, I swear I'm going to do something. I don't know what, but I'm going to do something. Was it you? No, it was Kev. He's more than that.
Now, I mean, we all joke and stuff like that. And we were just talking about something we don't want to see in the hobby with these whiners and stuff. No, get the fuck out if you're going to do that to people. You're going to dox them, get out.
Yeah.
Just don't be in the hobby. Just go, because that is very uncool. That is very, very uncool.
Uncoolness about it is
it's very dangerous.
It is, especially for what she does for a living.
Yes. Yeah. And you have to respect that. And most of these people don't understand that and don't know the circumstances behind people's lives. And you don't know that you could be putting that person in serious danger. And that's why, well, number one,
it's over a game though.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. It's over a game and you're going to be a jerk like that. Well, you really need to grow up and get the hell out.
Right. And especially when the whole conversation was, oh, he's taking the money and we're never going to get the games. We're all getting ripped off. And then now they've had to accept that they're going to get the game. So now it's, but it's 2 years or however 18 months or however long it's been,
Yeah.
It's just unacceptable. Well, you know what?
There's so many games out later than out. I mean,
I just have no idea why.
Years and years behind.
I don't even know why there's a complaint about it.
That's the other thing too, is these people don't understand crowdfunding. Because this is what happens with crowdfunding. There are delays. And the reason they think that it's special to crowdfunding versus regular published games is because crowdfunding, the game is announced, the game has shown up. Hey, give us your money and then we'll get the game done. And then it goes into a process. Games that are published go through the exact same process. They're just not getting the money up front. They're not having an update every week as to what's going, or every month as to what's going on with the game. And that game is, it was originally planned to be out a year or two ago. It's now out 2 years late. Oh, why is that? But no one cares. No one knew. Half the time they don't know, half the time they don't care, because it went through the same trials and tribulations, minus the production issues that could happen.
Well, it was the perfect storm too. Remember, there was a lot of other companies that were screwing the pooch. Some of them did it very, very badly, like Mythic. So people already had a bad taste in their mouths.
Right.
So it got it to where when anyone was late, people, a handful of people out there started putting out the conspiracy theories and this, that, and the other. The
thing that is the most ball breaking of it is, if I'm stealing the money, okay, why would you keep making updates? Oh, the updates changed. Well, why is it taking so long? You got half the crowd that wants, tell me when you have something to say, which is my personal crowd I like to stay in. Mm-hmm. I want to hear an update even if nothing's changed. But then the other half of that crowd bitches because nothing's changed. And and then the crowd that wants an update no matter what. That's
not an update.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly what occurred.
Yep.
And I just now here's all the promises, buddy. Every time I post, like, it's on the boat now. I waited. Now I kind of suspected it was already picked up over a week ago. But I couldn't get anyone to confirm it. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to say anything now. And if I did that before, but it really wasn't picked up. It was, it's 2 weeks late. Well, why is it late? Why is everyone else's game is coming? I got some very unchristian things to say. That's all I'm going to say.
Welcome, Mark. Hope you enjoy it.
First time. Woohoo.
Yeah, well, don't worry. You have us. We can say all those nasty things for you.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's why I'm here.
Yeah, and then and these people, the people who you could tell who doesn't know anything about crowdfunding, because of those people like, well, he must be a thief because he collected the shipping when he knew the game wasn't ready to ship. And I was just like, and it took me a while to think about it. I was like, no, I didn't correct the game. In order to turn on the late pledges, it automatically gives you the opportunity to pay for the shipping.
Right.
It's stuff like that.
You know, it's funny because I have this super high end, allegedly, because I haven't got it yet, and it's more than 2 years late. Espresso machine coming, and it's, you know, they used to send out monthly updates, and now they send out basically quarterly updates, but they're super detailed and got lots of really cool information. And we just lost Mo again, but nevertheless, those guys communicate so that we know what's going on, but they only communicate when there's something to say, you know. And so I'm not worried about whether or not I'm going to get my machine. I've seen the production proofs and all the sort of stuff and all the prototypes, and no one there, and it's a very expensive piece of equipment. No one there is saying they've stolen the money. You know, this was a $4 million fundraise. Like, it was a big Kickstarter, and everyone's calm because they're okay. And here we are talking about a couple of $100 games and losing their minds over it. It's just,
Well, you know, I think a lot of it has to do with the World at War 85, believe it or not, because I think that game did so well. Not, let's say, revenue wise, but the game was so well reviewed and so well liked, that a lot of let's say, crowdfunders or / wargamers got into the mix, because it wasn't until the people going crazy on World at War jumped onto the other games and they got crazy.
Yeah. Well, you got to remember, what was it? Storm of Steel, What was the first one? I'm having a brain fart.
Storm in the Gap.
Storm in the Gap. Yeah. That's what it was Game of the Year. It came out. So Blood and Fury is going to be highly anticipated. I don't blame people for being excited for it.
Well, the other thing too is, if you remember, Dave, when you first did your first Kickstarter, we had a long chat, and I
remember it.
I remember telling you, I said, you're now stepping into a whole new world. Oh, I know about production. I said, no, I know you know about production. You're a publisher. You know the gig on that. You're now in Kickstarter. Now this one was GameFound, but you're now in crowdfunding. You have a different mindset now from the customer. The customer is, the maturity level drops, the petulance level rises, and that's what you see. I don't know what it is about crowdfunding, but crowdfunding becomes that way for almost everybody. There's a group in there that, I don't know if it's an entitlement thing or what, but I demand an answer now, and I want the game now. Dude, what does it say? What did it say when you funded? It wasn't going to be ready till May of 2025. It's November of 24. Relax.
Right. Hey, look, Charles Latoro made a great point. Rebel Fury, right?
Oh yeah.
You know, Mark Herman, GMT, 2019. When did that ship? Last year? That was 2023, right?
A few months ago, or was it last year? Yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah, it was 4 or 5 years after the fact. But the difference is, which people would say, is they didn't pay for it up front.
Yeah, which is fine.
And because people pay for it up front, they feel they have a right to bitch. But that's the thing about crowdfunding. You are trusting this to be done, and you're risking this to get done, and you're putting the money into it, believing that it'll get done.
Right.
And
you're getting something more.
Yeah, you're getting benefits.
Money,
you're getting exclusives and extra stuff that other people will have to. I mean, the original Kickstarter, the first one, Storm in the Gap, was what, $100?
Yeah, I guess
something like $100, but you got like $200 worth of stuff or something like that. I mean, it was when you bought everything after the fact. If you waited to retail, you would spend like $150, $200. So that was the benefit of investing up front, is you save $50 to $100. You know, so, and you got it early before anyone.
Well, you got to remember, though, people had a lot more faith up until, a couple of years ago, because it used to be, certain company names, you could have complete faith in them that they were going to deliver. And then you had some that people expected to deliver who suddenly started dropping the ball. And then Devil Pig, I think it was Devil Pig, not Flying. Yeah, Devil Pig.
Yep.
Devil Pig pulled that huge scam and ran off with a complete Kickstarter. Right? Nobody got anything out of it. And that caught a lot of people. That caught me completely flat-footed that company would pull that, because you would never expect it from that company. And I think that reduced people's faith in especially things like Kickstarter because there is no recompense. There's really nothing you can do.
I know it, and they don't know that because I got told, well, I'm having my lawyer call GameFound, and I just chuckled,
Yeah. There's always the irate comments that are made and stuff. It's like, you know what? Not for anything, but I've backed well over 200 things on Kickstarter over the years.
Yep.
And not just primarily games, but there's been a lot of other things. So I'm very versed in the patience level of waiting for Kickstarter games and projects. Some things deliver on time. A lot of things deliver on time, roughly within a month or two, sometimes early, sometimes a little late. Some things deliver way ahead of time. Some things deliver way after the fact.
Right.
It's just the risk you're taking with it. And you have to understand that if you're not willing to be involved in it, if you're not willing to take that risk, then don't get involved in crowdsourcing, crowdfunding. It's not for you.
I mean, I will say this: if you're late, pissed off because you're late, I'll take that all day long. It's late. All there is to it. It's the extra nastiness. I mean, that wonderful letter I got from that other idiot. I can't think of his name right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that guy. And I love the new one. Some idiot says, "Oh, the reason the games haven't shipped yet is because Heath can't secure the money to prove to the investment bank that the games will sell."
The games have already sold.
I know. I have to tell you, I have a lot of, got to hold my tongue. I really do.
Good grief. Thank
What
God.
investment bank? There's no investment bank. People pay.
Shh, you don't know about that.
Yeah. We do have some friends in some nice Arab countries,
Oh, I thought it was Tony and the boys from back east.
Well, those are for the more of the undercover games. We like to spread it out.
They're the guys that give the special deal on the insurance for that Lambo.
Right. They guarantee me shipment. That's what it is. I didn't pay that guarantee protection money, so the games are still in China.
All right. So just this is who is it that was saying it? Meandering Mike. He was saying they backed 104 items on Kickstarter. I just pulled it up just to see. So I think it's after. I think you have it too, Mike. I think after 100 projects or whatever they call you, a super backer. I have joined in September of 2010. I've backed since that time 245 projects, but I don't really back very much anymore. Very few, and it's just something I've done. And there's been a lot of cool little things I've gotten in there, and there's been a lot of games and a lot of the the overwhelming majority, if not all the games, nearly all the games that I've got on Kickstarter have been sold off because they just turn out to be garbage or not for me or whatever.
That's why I've become so much more selective on what I get because it's the price has gone up tremendously on Kickstarters, and now they're breaking the games up into pieces and doing all this extra, the expansions. I counted some of these 13 boxes worth of stuff that they're trying to jam in there. Kickstarter upward $500, $600, $700, $1,000 for a freaking board game.
They have gotten out of control with that.
Yeah.
They've become abusive with it, and that's one of the reasons why I don't do it.
Unless I know I'm going to play it, I'm not going to invest that kind of.
Well, years ago it was the other way. It's like Simon, you'd back one of the Zombicides for like $100, and you get like friggin' 7 billion friggin' miniatures with the game.
Yeah, right. I was going to say,
you get the base game for $100 or 150, and then you got to pay for this, and this add-on. Next thing you know, is $750. It's like the game ain't that good. I'm sorry, for $100, sure, but not for $750.
Well, so I think there's a relationship. When I look at how P500s work, right? I'm making a commitment that you can pretty much guarantee that 80% on a P500, 80% plus of the people will convert, and you'll get money you buy. On the flip side, with Kickstarter, you're giving your money up front. And so what I look for in Kickstarter, unless I'm super comfortable with the vendor or the publisher, is I'm looking for, am I getting at least a 20 or 25% discount off of retail? Yeah. What am I getting that might be exclusive? What am I getting that's extra? What am I getting that's going to make me feel like I'm doing you a favor and you're being respectful of the fact that I'm giving you the cash now instead of 18 months from now or a year or 5 years or however long it takes, right? So I think that's kind of gone by the wayside. Kickstarters now, and they're just saying, you know what? If you want all this really cool shit, give me $500. And I'm kind of like, no.
You know the other
No.
thing Kickstarter's doing. You know the whole reason we moved to GameFound, which I do like better, was because Kickstarter, their employees unionized.
Right.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
And they stopped. They have the right to cancel any game they don't like. And they canceled us. They wouldn't allow us to release on Kickstarter Heroes of the Bitter Harvest. And that was the main reason we switched
Because
over.
it had Devin's picture on the front.
I had Devin's picture. Now you can blame Devin's picture or that he was a German.
I was going to say, I don't think it was Devin's picture. I think it was
Have you seen Devin?
Herr Devin's picture.
It was
It had
definitely
Germans on the cover.
Dave's gonna go back. Dave was talking shit about you, man.
Now,
No,
you
it's
know what? If you went and put Heroes of Stalingrad up there in his picture, that would have got the approval right away. Seriously.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Seriously.
It
right?
really comes down to the, anything with Nazis, these people don't like is it's competing ideology. So they immediately just go after it.
Yeah,
Devin's here.
Is he?
Yeah, he just turned up. That's great.
there he is.
Sorry, buddy.
Wait, we did say his name 3 times.
Yeah,
We said Devin.
he's like the witch.
I thought he was supposed to appear in the mirror.
We switched over, and we'll just, I personally think these games are the best product production we've ever done. And,
They're stunning.
and I look at it to the point that, whatever we do next will be the same quality or better. And that's it. And people buy it, great. If they don't, they don't. If I get bored, I'll just stop doing it. Devin and I get along. We enjoy doing this. Sean, he's a great help. His game designs. And for those who are never going to buy a game again, I will take out the 3 or 4 M&Ms from my bag, toss them on the floor, and keep going.
Yeah,
Well, you're not wrong about Kickstarter becoming a problem. It isn't hitting games as hard as it's evidently hitting comic books, because comic books was something else that was very large on Kickstarter. And once they did that unionized thing that you were talking about, the comic book industry crashed on Kickstarter because they stopped any stories they didn't agree with, which was almost all of them. When they jump ship, there's another platform. I don't think it's GameFound. It's something else, but it's similar.
Go or something.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, it's just complete bullshit that some knucklehead. It'd be like my son, who gets paid 17 or 18 bucks an hour working heavy equipment. Says, you know what? Don't like the way you're treating your animals. So screw you. We're not going to build your road. Imagine if that's how the company got run, right? A construction company got run. It's asinine, and the fact that the owners
You'd have things run like we have run today.
Yeah, really. I would fire every single one of those Kickstarter employees, and 0 severance. Bye.
Yeah.
I've noticed over the last 3 years, all the outside influences is just attacking us. Like I got an issue with someone on Board Game Crap, as I call them, that we were not DEI compliant. How'd you like that one?
What?
DEI compliant? I'm not kidding you.
The company,
They must have thought I was someone else because
I used to be into racing, like NASCAR racing. DEI to me was Dale Earnhardt Incorporated. So for his racing company. So that's the only DEI I know.
Well, we
praise Dale.
I said, well, DEI for me stands for didn't earn it. So
yeah, that is definitely it. But
wait,
yeah,
how are you saying the games aren't compliant, or the company?
I think it was the company that they're complaining about. We didn't have a diverse character designers. That's what it was. It was diverse enough designers.
Aren't you Italian or something?
You know what? I feel like a beat down bastard at the moment. So who I know, you can whatever category that falls into.
What does it matter? That to me, I will say Lock and Load, like all publishers, I think wargame publishers are extremely diverse, because you've got World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, modern, Napoleonics, ancients. That's the diversity we need.
Well, I'm bringing out my slave game soon, so get ready for that one.
That'll be awesome. Can't
They're
wait.
gonna love
I'll buy 4 copies.
Well, cool.
So I think that means now that you've got volume 2 on the boat, that volume 3 will be on Kickstarter next month.
Oh, it's done already. Yeah, it's on the container ships.
Oh, there you go.
There
All
you
right,
go.
so we'll get volume 2 and 3. Awesome. Well, hopefully we will see a volume 3 because that's a
We'll
good
see.
long series that could.
I mean,
Oh,
I know Nicholas, he's deep into that, and I know Jeff Schulte, he's looking to do America Breached or whatever we called it.
Oh yeah. Oh, really? Cool.
That'll
That'd be
be
fun.
fun. Yeah, that'll be
So
great.
those are the two of the most. Anything after that is up in the air. I've canceled every single other project we had going though. And so I just I'm going to keep it down to 1 or 2 projects, and then that's going to be out.
I hate to hear that though, because I know there were a lot of great projects in the pipeline.
You know, the problem I found is, I know this may sound cruel to some of the listeners, but this is a lot of work. It's fun work, and it's better than digging ditches and, paving roads and whatever, but it's still work. And all these guys jump on board. We want to help. We want to do this. And you give them a project and it never gets done.
Well, yeah.
I mean, Charles Strength's a great example of that. That's why I finally just had enough. And there's a lot of other games like that. I just said, listen, if you're not one of these 4 games, I decided to only do 4 games a year, maybe 6. I'm going to shoot for 4. I'm going to ship them out at the same time. I'm going to make my life a little easier. And if it gets done, it gets done. If it doesn't, it doesn't. That's all there is to it. But I just felt that there was so many. I mean, Trial of Strength must have changed 18 lead people over the years. 18.
Yeah.
And I just said, this is just, even if it got done, I don't care at this point.
Yeah. And well, I mean, it was there. It was close, but then rules issues and things like that too. So
well, that's the other thing too. I was listening to you guys talk about rules, and I had this conversation again with the group. We were talking for work today, and I said, listen, there's 3 types of gamers. They're the idiots. Doesn't matter what you give them, videos, spreadsheets, flowcharts, they still can't understand what the hell you're telling them. The majority of gamers fall in the middle, and those guys figure it out. And if there's anything a little screwy, they can, work around it. Like I think Heroes of the Nam, from the original version, they mislabeled a leader in the order of battle. Now, we went through 4 or 5 different releases of that game. Do you know nobody ever caught that mistake? Not my team, not the public ever wrote about it, because most of the gamers said, "Oh, it's just Sergeant Smith, but it's got to be Jones because these are the right numbers," and they moved along. And then you've got the super intelligent guys that just doesn't matter. And I always tell them, I said, I don't care about the idiots. Pick the middle group and the end and the smart group, and they'll figure it out. If they can't figure it out, I probably should be stepping back from the game and the dice.
Yeah. Just go sell the game and move on. It wasn't for you. Okay, good grief. I've done that 200, 300 times.
It's just So that's it. And I know Kevin, you guys always give me digs for how many count play rate cards we have. I just found that
11 billion.
Yeah, but if you don't like it, you throw them in the box. If you like them,
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
the whole I forget where it comes from, but the whole shtick was, hey, you want this, you want that, we got this, we got that. It's like with Lock and Load, it's like, hey, you want to know the CRT? We got a play rate for that. You want to know how to do this? We got a play rate for that. I mean, because it's true.
I appreciate you, man. It's insane, Crazy Eddie's right.
Exactly, Crazy Eddie. Yeah.
I was actually thinking that the other day when I was going through Stuka Ace. When I first opened the box, I started pulling out, and there was a lot of player aid looking stuff, and I was like, yeah, that's a lock and load game. And then I realized, I was like, oh, you know what? I'll give them credit. It's not player aids. It was the playing cards. Right.
Yeah.
So all the different aircraft, similar to Western Front Ace. The actual player aids for the game, the ones that you would need to use for playing the game, I think there was only 2.
Yeah, I think it's 2, and there's one replacement on the carrier. The sequence of play changes a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. So player aids, actual player aids, rather low on that one.
Yeah. And it's interesting that I think, and I don't know really whether I could say that you started it, but I think you would be one of the primary instigators. I see a lot more games coming out with more charts and more play aids and more supporting material that's not in the rulebook than I have ever seen in recent times. And I'll use Air and Armor as an example, The Last Gamble as an example, Third World War as an example. A lot more tools that help people get into the game faster. And that's great, right? Because it's not just about getting a rule book, getting a map, and getting some counters and slapping it down and going at it. We can all do that.
Right.
But I just lost my headset. But you can accelerate the access to the game, but you can also enhance the enjoyment of the game by giving them these additional charts and tables and things that are useful. Yeah.
No, I think it was you, Kev, who asked me. It was a while ago. I don't need a close combat ratio table. And, I could probably only do ratios because of playing war games. But we had a bunch of younger high schoolers working for the company at the time, and their girlfriends wanted to know what they were doing. And then they started playing. And they had problems with ratios, so we put that chart in there. And to me, hey, everybody I get to play, especially younger people, get to play the
exactly.
game. Man, that's really what we're supposed to be about. You're bitching because I'm putting too many cards. Listen to what you're saying. I'm bitching because I'm putting too many player rate cards for those who want to use it.
Yeah. I'm trying to give you more player aids in the box, player aids. It's like, this helps you play the game. Why complain? And like you said, if you don't need them, and most of the player aids you have in like Lock and Load Tactical or World of War or whatever, you're not using them in that scenario. You just throw them in the box. You just need a few, and then you're good.
No, I know you made. Are you still developing that special set of dumbass charts that guys like Hexy can use? There we go. Perfect. Sorry, I had to do the Hexy. Sorry.
The hex charts.
The hex charts. Can someone define a hex for me, please?
Do you see what we did now? We just released, I did it as a test. I was working on AI for the manual, and we put one up for World of Wargaming 5, and you can ask it questions and it will look in the rule book and give you answers.
Is that on the website, on your website?
Yeah, it's on the library. It's in the library.
I'll have to
I'm
go check that.
going to put it. Yeah. And I told people, I said, listen, it's not to replace the rule book.
Yeah.
Kevin, actually, you guys can all blame, everyone online can all blame Kevin Sharp for this.
Thanks, Kev.
This happened because we were in Seattle many years ago, and I was watching him play Heroes of the Pacific. And I was just sitting there quietly watching him. I forget the other gentleman, but he's a good buddy too now. And they're playing, and they're constantly looking in the rule book for an answer for something. And I was like, how much time do we waste our game time trying to freaking find something in the rule book?
And I will, and in my own defense, I will say that I was looking things up because I was playing against a guy who was a relative newbie, and it was the final of the tournament, and I didn't want to cheat him out of a win, so I was double checking things. So there's that.
We call that the Kevin factor. I told you that before.
Yeah. But I did win. But,
No, but
I did win, by the way.
I did win, by the way. Screwed him right at the very end.
I beat that newbie like a rented mule.
I just whipped his sorry old ass. Yeah.
But no, the AI thing, that's great. I mean, I tried to use Alexa. We can ask Alexa a question, and it would tell you what the rule answer was. Right. That was way too much work. But the AI thing took a while, but it hasn't. No one's reported a bad answer. The benefit and the negative of that is, if I ask it, can an artillery fire at night? Okay, it'll give you an answer. But if you say, can an artillery fire at night with a star shell in the rain? The AI will answer it, but you need to give it more. You also get a better answer if with the AI, you can at least say, hey, can an artillery fire at night? It'll give you an answer. Does that also account for in the rain? And it will update the answer for you. Sometimes it tells you, oh, yeah, you're right. Like it gives you the wrong answer. So you question it and it will actually come back to you and tell you, yeah, I got it wrong. You're right.
Is that ChatGPT you're using? Or
it's a version of ChatGPT. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Every time you ask a question, Alexa, she just responds the same way. Read the manual.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, 3:20 in the morning. Oh, wow. Sean, where are you located? Well, yeah, this is, we're going to wrap it up here. We've had a fun time tonight chatting with about a bunch of different subjects and having Dave on to give the great news that the games are finally on their way to us. So hopefully we'll see them without delay. You have to remember there are these little things called storm systems out there, as I think everybody should be aware right now, that will be affecting transit across water because they all start on the water. And then they spin around and then they come to land. So hopefully none of that will interfere or delay shipping, for the games. But it's great to know that they're on the floaty thing and they're on their way. And hopefully we'll see them in another month and a half or so, maybe 6-8 weeks. So hopefully in time for Christmas, which would be great.
Once we get the ship name, I'll post that eventually.
Yeah.
It's probably on its Chinese tour right now because it goes up and down the coastline, adding different ports to get stuff.
Make sure you get the right ship name this time.
Right, it wasn't my fault. That wasn't my fault. It's funny they gave me the wrong name twice.
That was so funny. That was so funny when I saw
it
that.
Happens.
Like you try and give people information, and then the shipping company gives you the wrong information.
And you're like, guys, gave you the wrong information because they gave me the wrong information. Oh my God,
I'm lying.
But another Lamborghini.
All right, gentlemen.
Yeah, we're going to call it an evening here, and we will see you guys at the end of the month. We're going to be doing our second show, which will actually be the true October show at the end of the month to catch up because we did not have a show last month. But thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We really appreciate you. We'll see you on the next episode. Have a great night, everybody.